A large group of our mutual friends cut off contact with me, and I later found out it was because I apparently left my wife a pauper eating rotting food from bins in Spain. This all started the year before, when in July my wife, F36, let's call her M, decided our marriage was over and declared to me she wanted a separation. I, M39, was the main breadwinner and paid all household and grocery expenses, and even a fair chunk of my pay into M's personal bank account, even though she earned her own money. She traveled a lot for work, as I did, but she could not afford to move out on her own or afford to take over the bills from me. So we cohabited awkwardly, organizing travel to avoid each other, but making sure one of us was home to care for our 5 pets. Initially I thought we could repair our marriage, but by October suspected there was someone else. I was subsidizing her to jet set around Europe while having a suspected affair. So I stopped payments from my pay to her personal account, and covering her groceries, and started divorce proceedings. She was furious, both about the divorce and the money. Somehow she thought I owed her, and this made our living situation very toxic. We were still talking and coordinating travel, so someone was always home with our pets. She was due to travel over Christmas and New Year with her new friends, and I had a long work trip in February which she had agreed she had no plans and would be there for the pets. While she was away she let me know she used a one-way ticket and did not know when, or if she would be back. That created a huge problem for me financially and logistically to organize care for my pets, a house sitter, etc. I couldn't find someone that would care for our large dog and ended up taking him overseas on my work trip for 11 weeks at my own cost. It took over a year to finalize the divorce, which, to just get it over if I just about left myself bankrupt. With 2 years of support payments. Anyway, during that year we barely communicated except through lawyers, but at some stage during the year she reached out to me with some sob story about her rent money being stolen from her purse while on a work trip. She'd always been extra cautious with money, valuables and pickpockets, and it just didn't ring true. I was unmoved and said something like, "Have you reported it to the police?" And she just broke down and cried about how she couldn't afford to lose it and she didn't want to go to the police in a foreign country, etc. I refused to help. By the end of the divorce she had over euro 100k in the bank, 600 euros a month support, a heap of the household furniture shipped to Spain, and me responsible for her massive credit card bills. Years later I crossed paths with one of the group of friends that cut me off to hear the story they had, as I had left her broke and scrounging for food, as one of the group that had visited her in Spain where she settled found her living in an unfurnished flat with cupboards and fridge bare except for some rotting vegetables. Should I feel responsible? Ada for not helping out? Update 1: the friend group that sided with her were not close friends. We'd met whilst on the show circuit with our dog. Not sure about the timing of her broke phase. I assumed it was during the year the divorce was being finalized. Never occurred to me she'd have blown through the cash, but she was a spender. Massive credit card bill, case in point. As for the empty apartment with rotting food, I have a theory. My guess is that she was trying to hide the fact she was living with her new boyfriend. The boy toy comment made me laugh as he was younger than her. In the UK, adultery is justification to get divorced, but does not impact the settlement. It was the kind of stupid thing she would do just to prove a point though. So I think she was actually living with new BF and only using the FL at for show when visitors came to establish a story. Jick, we went to court. But who knows? Do I have concrete proof of her having a new boy, let alone shacking up with him? No. But there is circumstantial stuff like grocery receipts with packs of condoms. We had not been intimate in a while, pics of the guy in question on one knee to her, and the uni friend that let it slip at wedding I attended that she'd visited M and her lovely new boy on the way to the wedding. She flew from Australia to Scotland for said wedding. That wedding was before the divorce was final. As for the divorce settlement, I kept the house, most of the furniture and most importantly the pets. The house had increased in value a lot in the 8 years we'd owned it, so it was the extra mortgage cost not only of having borrowed more, but having the rate increased as the loan to value ratio went up. By the end I'd moved on and my new GF, now wife, had moved in and lawyers are expensive. Fighting would have meant we both got less and lawyers got more. I also had a chunk of land I inherited with my brothers well before I married M. She wanted my share included in the assets, the compromise meant it wasn't.